maybe that's the sign that
Maybe that's a sign.
everything is watching us. The whole thumbs up thing on Zoom. Yeah, it's a sign.
Which is a fabulous lead into our topic today.
Hey, welcome everybody. And okay, now you thought I was being cute when I actually replied to you, said what would be a good topic title for this thing, and I wrote back, it's a sign. I didn't have time to write out my idea, so I just wrote back, it's a sign. And then I was gonna like write explanation. I didn't get around to it because I was busy. And then you're like, that's cute.
Let's call it that.
So we're done. I don't need to reply anymore. Okay, it's a sign.
Okay, so yes, I came up with the idea of this one because there has been a number of events over the last 3 weeks in my world that have felt like they're being defined or they're being confirmed by signs. So one of them was we went away for a week. We kept getting these indications about just needing to not stay at the location that we were at. Like, it was so bizarre. It was like it was raining, or it just wasn't comfortable, or the Wi-Fi wasn't working. And then one of our main mobile carriers here, Optus, went down for 14 hours. And like, there was all these sort of, this is just not comfortable. It's a sign. So we ended up coming home.
Was it a feeling, or were you getting like different messages? Well,
it's the thing, right? It's like, we can't get access to internet. Well, that's no good if we want to hang out in the room and chill, because now we have to go and find somewhere else to go and hang out and chill. Well, that wasn't the idea. We were given the accommodation. So there was indicators. I would call them indicators, and the feelings were frustrations, right? Because things weren't falling into place. So we ended up coming home a day early, and then I was I hadn't told anyone we were coming home a day early, which was a bit of a gift, because we were then able to just settle back into home, and that was great. And there was no pressure because no one knew I was here. And then my girlfriend needed me for some medical support, so I was able to go and be with her for that. And so then it's like, okay, this following your instinct and looking for the indicators. I then had a situation where I probably I'd kind of done that thing where I've been away for a week, now I'm back, I really need to ramp everything up, and I had an insane couple of days. And then my body started giving me signs of, Chris, you might be overdoing it. So I was achy all over, and then I had it's just all these things that it's like, oh my goodness, are you going to pay attention yet, Chris? And then I had other examples where not me, but someone else gets an indication of particular numbers. And when they see those numbers, it means something. They've put a really negative connotation on it, which actually alerted me. So
like 911?
Yeah, like that. And interesting, because here in Australia we have 000. I don't know, what do you guys have?
What would I get 000? When would that show up?
000 is our emergency number.
Oh, yeah, we have nothing that's 000 anything.
So what do you have as your emergency number, like to get an ambulance?
911.
Oh, you have 911 as well, right? Okay. So for some reason here in Australia, this person has decided that 911 is an emergency and it's danger. And I had this whole conversation around, well, what if it was an indication and not necessarily putting a meaning on whether it was good or bad, and maybe just seeing it as I need to pay attention to something. And then I chuckled to myself and went, Chris, what are you needing to pay attention to?
What are you needing to pay attention to?
little bit more space.
Hey, this is a theme that goes back to our last conversation, which was, I feel like, a long time ago. A month ago?
Well, yeah, it was about a month ago. And look, it's a constant conversation with me about space and management of time. And this is just an ongoing. It's another layer, another example of me creating more space. We could join all our conversation together, I'm sure, and it'll all be about that.
Don't tell everybody, then they'll never come back.
So I thought it was a really, it got me thinking about how quickly we put a meaning on a sign. We decide that that thing is a sign. So for some reason, while I was on holidays, I decided that the inconveniences that we were experiencing was a sign or an indication that we shouldn't be there anymore. And is that true? Or maybe I needed to bring, lean into the discomfort and get comfortable with that. Like how quickly I was to define a reason. And why do we do that? And so that's why I thought it would be fun to investigate a little bit of that. It's a sign, because we allocate meanings to things very quickly without a lot of conscious thought. And I thought it'd be fun to tackle.
Yeah, I think the topic is interesting, but for some reason I want to go into your story a little bit, because you ended up coming home early, I'm assuming because of the discomfort.
Yes, completely.
But when you came home, you were alerted to your friend needing somebody.
Correct. So it was like, well, that was convenient because I have nothing else planned. So sure, I can drop everything at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and turn up.
So I struggle with a couple of different things here. So yes, I too look for meaning in signs and numbers and things. But sometimes just relaxing and letting go of it's all work, and like knowing that it's all working out, all of those things forcing you to come home early was the best thing for a few of you.
Correct. Which I was personally really comfortable with, but it did make me pay attention to these things that we decide are important, and how do we make that discernment about which signs do we pay attention to?
That was actually the first thing that came to mind when you brought up the topic, and I spent about 2 iota. Is an iota a duration of time? I don't know, but I spent.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Yeah,
it's not very much. It's not very much. But the first thing that came to mind in my 2 iotas of thought were resonance. So do I resonate with the idea or thought or sign that is showing up? Does it feel good to me or does it not feel good to me? Because if I resonate with it being like, let's say it was like to help me make a decision on something, if I'm resonating with the good feeling of it, well, then that's my course of action, whatever that thing is. So that was kind of where my mind was going. And if you're not resonating with it, well, why? What's there behind this? Is there some information I can glean from this?
And so I was comfortable in our decision to come home early, and you could see very quickly what was opening up as a result of that decision. Interestingly, I also noticed that I was talking about our holiday in kind of not a holiday mode way. Like we didn't relax on the week, really. We had moments of relaxation, but it wasn't an escape, and we could just sit back and enjoy. There was, oh, okay, now we have to decide this, and now we have to get here, and now this isn't working, and now that's a bit awkward, and oh, that's a bit, okay, that was an experience. It was kind of that kind of week, and it sort of didn't give us a break.
Interesting
And
choice of words.
when I leave home, I like to feel like it's um, a rest period from my everyday. And it wasn't particularly restful. We did a lot of things, but I do a lot of things all the time. So that didn't seem too different. So I just thought it was, and I noticed that people will, look at their phone and go, "Oh, it's 11:11. That's a sign." Or they will get caught up in placing meanings based on the past that may not actually apply now.
Like the last time you saw 911 and something bad happened.
Yes, and therefore associating that every time you see 911, therefore it's going to mean something bad, because there's an automatic association of negativity,
Mm-hmm.
which says to me that there's an unconscious association. So I really like what you've said, like just making that conscious decision and discernment about, does this dilemma or indicator resonate with me or not? So when somebody's associated a number with, or a sign with negativity, then they just automatically are going there with that. And it made me think about how many times we default the meaning without even realizing that we're doing it. So if I get I don't know, I place a positive meaning on, oh, this person, I confirm an appointment for the following day, and that person moves, and then two other people drop in at that exact time. It's like, oh, well, that played out really nicely. That's a sign that my life is flowing really well. And it's this meaning we automatically put on, when really it was probably nothing about my life flowing well. They just needed to move their appointment time, and other people needed to talk to me more. But I place a meaning for me automatically. And really is that, it was making me sit up and pay attention to what meaning I'm placing on things that happen, that I happen to notice around me.
What I find helpful is maybe not a specific thing that's happening, but a theme of things that are happening. Right. So you've noticed lately that taking a break or needing more space is a theme, something that is a regular occurrence in your current reality that you may need to pay attention to. So noticing the themes that are showing up for you, as opposed to the one off.
Yeah, because I think that our system will look for that. Like if we experience the one off and it has a strong emotion attached to it, we'll find it everywhere else. We'll constantly see it because we're looking for it.
It's Yeah, it's interesting because I've gone through waves in my life where I will follow the number and then I'll go look it up. Okay, what does 11:11 mean? What does 1:11 mean? What does 2:22 mean? Because I see them a lot. And throughout the day, it's like my brain is like attuned to the clock being that. It's pretty insane. But I've stopped giving it the same meaning. I've stopped worrying about what each of the numbers is supposed to mean, as opposed to I'm on track. Things are okay. Things are working out. Like I've redefined what it is to see those numbers. Whereas my wife, when she sees them, she will now worry about, well, okay, what does that particular thing one mean? Oh, I'm not paying attention to this in my life. And I'm like, it's for me, it's okay. Everything's fine. There's nothing to worry about. You're on the right path. And then I feel calmer. So just that feeling of calm or easiness that comes with me going, everything's okay, for me, that's the resonance. That's the resonance with being okay. That will ease, provide a sense of ease for me.
Yes, and I hear you on the theme. So even on my walk this morning, so I'm doing a daily walk, and I don't take any technology with me. I just go for a walk around the block. If I can help it, I don't even take my house keys, because usually someone's still at home, so I can just walk out the door and come back in 10 minutes. It's quite rebellious, actually, having no way for anybody to contact me for all of 15 minutes. It's quite phenomenal. But even in that, I'm creating more space, because I'm not attached to the phone. I'm not attached to being available. I'm totally just me, not for anybody else, just for me. Not even going for a walk with a buddy. It's not even that. It's just me. And so I thought this morning, oh, it's interesting that I'm going for a walk, and that's creating more space. And I looked ahead at my calendar when I got back, and I literally, before I get on this call, I was sitting down for half an hour, not doing anything. Where the last, I'd say, couple of months, if not longer, I would fill that gap, usually with renovation, something. But today I just sat and waited, and there was something about, like, I don't know what the full benefit of that is yet, but I suspect in 3 weeks' time, I might go, oh, it's been really nice to just be a little calmer in these more extreme circumstances, and not be as staying at my peak for as long.
What's the feeling or the benefit that you're getting in that break period that you're having?
Well, I noticed that I wasn't feeling guilty, so I wasn't feeling obliged to anyone. So that felt really good. There was no sense of, oh, I should be. And so that made me realize that sometimes I probably do the I should be, but when I'm actually just sitting and I haven't filled that gap, I don't feel it. It's just a bit of a neutral space. And it gives me benefits in ways that I cannot actually articulate, because it's hitting different parts of me that I don't have a comprehension on. I mean, my physical body was a little bit, well, we got in and got lots of renos done last weekend, like lots of cabinets, and I am now the expert in building drawers for IKEA kitchens. I am across all of that.
I got
but
it.
We like like every evening for an hour and a half, 2 hours, we would build stuff as much as we could. And there was like, no, too tired. My brain has stopped working. I can't do anymore. So we did that every night. And I noticed at the beginning of this week, when I'd been to the gym and hadn't really done a lot on Monday, Tuesday, my whole body was aching. And it's like, it's less about, it wasn't because I went to the gym the day before. It was simply because I just hadn't given my body any break. It had been on the go. And it's paying attention, I guess. And if I give myself the space, then my physical body feels better. I have no doubt my mental body, my mental being has more space to expand and maybe dream a little and do some imagining and those sorts of things. And there's be other parts of me that would benefit. But we don't always know what those are in the moments.
No, and if you're speaking to, and you said it earlier, like it's affecting me in ways that I can't articulate with words. Right. So why try to give it any language at all, and just, be in it. And if you can have that non-judgmental kind of zoom out for your break, whatever that is, you don't have to make it about anything in particular, but you're giving yourself what your body, mind, soul, whatever needs in that time.
Yes. And I'm grateful that I paid attention today, because it feels like a really easy day today. And I'm already at, well, it's 10, just after 10 here, nearly 10:30. And it is a Friday, so it's always got that Friday feel. But and I'll honestly be working through till 8 o'clock tonight. But I feel like there's lots of room today.
I wonder if you're speaking a little bit to another thing that I wanted to mention, which was following the energy of yes. Have I ever mentioned this before with you?
I don't think, not in that phrasing.
No, well, it's a phrase that a colleague of mine, friend of mine, uses. So basically, following what's working, following, like, let's say you're starting a new project and there's like energy and excitement and enthusiasm and people want to join you, and there's following an energy of yes, versus there's more obstacles and things in the way, and that's not working, and this person is not working out, and whatever, all the hindrances that come up in projects and endeavors that aren't working. So why put your effort into those when they're not? So on your holiday, you gave up putting energy into what wasn't working, and you're like, we're just going to go in another direction. We're going to go home and we're going to enjoy things differently to finish things off. So you might not have referred to it as following the energy of no, but yeah, you moved yourself into the energy of what was feeling better, and to take a break from it. I actually used this phrasing with a client last week, and he was like, it struck him. It was like, oh, like I'm giving a lot of energy to projects that are not enjoyable, not fun. I'm just putting my energy in places that it's not fruitful, versus something that I really am passionate about, want to try on and want to give some energy into, and then following that energy as opposed to the other.
Which would be really handy when we get stuck on a sign that gives us a negative feel, because that would be following the energy of no, really. And so what is it that can what I see though is there can be a difficulty in moving out of that. I'm going to use me as an example. Down on the holiday, we just kept pushing through
Mm-hmm.
the no, following the no. We just kept pushing, following the no, until we stopped and chose something different.
Or maybe
But
until it got
pushing.
loud enough that it wasn't like, I've had enough of this. I'm going to do
Well,
something.
there is that. And so there can be a persistence. And maybe that's just me, because I do tend to be very, very persistent. But there's a bit of a persistence in I'll just push through. I'll just push past. I just have to deal with this.
I've been trying to pay more attention to that, follow the energy of yes, lately. I'm not sure why, but I have been. And I've been perusing Marketplace on Facebook. I don't know if that's really a thing down there.
Oh no, it's a thing down under. Yeah.
Anyways, and it can be a bit of a hassle to sell stuff, to buy stuff, and whatever. But you know what you're getting when you go in there. So there was something that I've been looking for a while, and it popped up, and I made an offer, and this person said no, and I went, okay, fine, and I let it go. And then a week later, it popped back up again. And like they came back to me saying, "Oh, it's available. If you'd like it, you can come and get it." I'm on a call, dude. I'll come see you. I know. So yeah, this is great for live on Facebook. So I what was I thinking? Oh yeah, so this person came back, but it was too complicated for us to get our times to match, for me to be able to see the equipment before I bought it and all that kind of stuff. So instead of putting a bunch of effort into what felt like a fruitless endeavor, I just said, maybe it's not the right time. And I kind of ended the interaction. But if this was me 6 months ago and that thing popped up, I probably would have done everything in my power to try to make it happen. Okay, I can leave work early. I can come and meet you. I can do whatever. And anyways, right? You have to follow the energy where it goes. And yes might be right behind me right now.
Yeah, though he's hiding.
Yes.
He is hiding.
Yeah.
A little.
Yeah. Mini me is back there. Anyways. So I think you get the point there.
I feel there's her.
Dude, I'll come see you in 5 minutes, okay?
I love it. Yeah, look, so I think that the following the yes energy is really helpful. And I saw this play out for this other person that was paying attention to all the numbers indicators to go, oh, see, this is going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem. And what automatically happened is they started to, it allowed them to raise the concern to go, oh, I'm worried about this. And then these other elements fell into place for them.
Mm.
I'm not sure that all the dots were connected for that individual yet, that sign actually allowed a lot of things to fall into place. But it is certainly that energy of yes. I love that. Or the flow of yes. You can, if you step into that, if you're willing to step into that stream, then you'll find more ease as you step into that. And I think I don't know that humans are going to stop using signs to give indications of what's good or bad or where we should go or what we should do. I think it's part of the human DNA to put a meaning on things, makes us feel more comfortable and you know, we always seem to be searching for meaning. So I don't think it's going to be something that we stop doing on a human level, but it's certainly interesting when we do it unconsciously or we do it consciously. So are we just defaulting or are we being deliberate in what we choose when we pay attention to a sign?
I think it's being open to interpretation. Right. And even getting outside perspective from somebody else who doesn't have a vested interest in your particular story as to what do you think that means? Or do you think it has any meaning? Or could you just give me a fresh perspective on the way I'm looking at this right now? And
yeah, that can really help.
Get some additional information as opposed to just basing it on the 4 numbers on the screen or the whatever. So
yeah, totally. Yeah, and this is why these conversations are so helpfully, and hopefully my theme of space does keep moving regardless, because you always give me a fresher perspective on what might be going on.
Yeah, and I think if I keep this conversation going, I will be following the energy of not yes right now. So...
What?
It's okay, dude.
All right. Well, then if we wrap this up and then we can do another live in a fortnight, I'm hoping. So we will rejoin everybody in 2 weeks' time.
Sounds good to me.